Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm grateful for your time and for your presence and for your willingness to listen. Today, I want to talk about peace. Peace is a word we hear often. We hear it in the news, in moments of tragedy, in speeches, in prayers. Yet, despite how familiar the word is, peace feels distant. When I was a child, peace felt simple to me. Not because life was easy, but because my heart was still innocent enough to believe that the world could be kind. I remember sitting in our living room while my parents were listening to the news. We only had one TV. We would pretend to be focusing on homework, but our ears were always open. Whenever the news spoke of wars, suffering, or people losing their homes, I felt an ache in my heart. It really hurt me hearing that there was people suffering and fighting. I didn't understand why people fought. I didn't understand why children had to suffer. And I remember thinking, this shouldn't exist. This shouldn't be allowed to happen. As a child, I truly believed I could do something about it. I remember walking to school with my father in the mornings. I loved those walks. I would hold his hands and talk endlessly, asking questions, sharing thoughts, wondering out loud. We had a really nice bond. One morning I asked him, "Father, how can I stop wars? How can I bring peace to the world?" He looked at me with the calm and wisdom parents carry, and he said something that stayed with me forever. He said, "You may not realize it now, but you have more power than you think. You start with yourself. You start by being kind, by being understanding, by forgiving. Forgiving, do not forget this. And one day you will use your own voice." At the time, I didn't understand what he meant by using my voice. I imagined something big, something magical. I thought peace needed a loud voice to reach the whole world. So I started imagining writing a letter to the world. I didn't know who I would send it to. I didn't know who would read it, but I believed, truly believed, that if the right words were written, wars would stop, people would listen, children all over the world would be safe. Wasn't that the greatest thing? So every night before sleep, I rewrote the letter in my mind. This version wasn't strong enough. That version didn't feel powerful enough. I wanted words that could change hearts. So every night I would write that in my mind over. And those were thoughts of a child, a pure, hopeful, unafraid child. As I grew older, I realized something important. Peace doesn't begin with nations. It begins with individuals. Peace doesn't arrive when the world becomes perfect. It arrives when we stop fighting who we are. Peace is quiet. It doesn't demand attention. It settles gently, often when we are exhausted from resistance. I've learned that peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the ability to remain grounded while moving through it. Peace is choosing restraint instead of reaction. It's walking away, not because you're weak, but because you value your inner world. In a society that encourages noise, peace is discipline. As individual, as parents, as women, as human, constantly expect to prove ourselves. Peace becomes an act of courage. So peace, I think, is allowing yourself to be misunderstood. Peace is not explaining your pain to those unwilling to understand it. Peace is choosing your well-being over validation. So peace is not silence in the face of injustice. It's not submission. It's not fear. True peace is strong. It knows when to speak and when to remain still. It knows which battles matter and which ones will not steal your energy away. Peace is also practical. It shows in how we nourish our bodies, in the information we consume, in the people we allow close to us in the way we rest without guilt. So today, if you are listening and you are tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain, I want you to know this. You are allowed to choose peace. Even when others don't understand your choice, even when it costs you distance, you're allowed to choose peace, even when it requires letting go, because peace will never betray you. People might, circumstances of life might, but peace will not. So that letter that I once wanted to write to the world, I realize now that I am still writing it through words, through my stories, through my conversations just like this. So maybe peace doesn't need a loud voice. After all, maybe it only needs an honest one. So we talked that forgiveness means peace too. For this reason, I'm going to go ahead and read one of my poems to you. So this poem is Forgive. Forgive, for love desires grace, soft words, a gentle, warm embrace, a tender touch, a hold so tight that fills the heart with peaceful light. Forgive, for peace it brings, awakening love, the joy it sings. Forgiveness lifts, it sets us free, unchain the soul to simply be. Forgive, for life without release is endless pain, a stolen peace. Why waste your days in bitter strife when love and grace give strength to life? Forgive, for through it you will find salvation, a heart aligned, and its warmth life shines anew with deeper meaning, pure and true. So yeah, start by forgiving, and your heart knows what it brings peace. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here with me. If peace has shaped your life, challenged you, or healed you, I would love to hear your story. Please feel free to reach out and share your thoughts. Before I close today, I want to leave you with a question. If peace truly began with individuals, what would you do to bring more peace into the world? Would it start with forgiveness? Would it start with kindness? With listening more and judging less? With raising children differently? Or with choosing understanding over anger? Whatever is your question, I would love to hear it. There is no right or wrong answer, only honest ones. So if you feel called to share your thoughts, your story, or your perspective, I would truly love to hear from you. You can always email me to my email address, author.pranverabardoshi@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening and have a very blessed and peaceful day.